of Niall O'Leary, Owen Downey and Sean O'Donoghue are expected to be tested this afternoon with what is a very impressive Tipperary full forward line. The Cork captain Robert Downey is an inspirational player at centre back. He's Kieran Joyce and Mark Coleman to his right and left, who are both outstanding hurlers. Tim O'Mahony and Darragh Fitzgibbon will wear number 8 and 9 in the middle of the field for Cork, and together they have become a powerful centre field combination. Dermot Healy, Shane Barrett and Declan Dalton are a cocktail of style, speed and skill, which makes the Cork half forward line difficult to deal with. But it's the Cork full forward line of Patrick Horgan, Alan Connolly and Brian Hayes that has people buzzing and talking. Between them, they've scored 12 goals and 67 points in just 6 games, which is quite remarkable. Seamus Harnedy and Cormac O'Brien return from injury and make the Cork 16 to 26, along with Ger Mellowick, Tommy O'Connell, Conor Lahan and Shane Kingston. It's a strong bench. Rhys Shelley is the Tipperary goalkeeper, and he really has made a huge difference since he started for the first time in the Munster Championship against Clare and Ennis. He's matured into a fine keeper, but today will face his biggest challenge. This All-Ireland title could well depend on how Tipperary full backline of Robert Doyle, Owen Connolly and Michael Breen will shortly face their biggest challenge. Ronan Maher captains Tipperary from centre back. His 2 wingmen, Craig Morgan and Brian O'Mara, have made the number 5 and number 7 jerseys their own, and so completes the strong half back line. Willie Connors from Killadangan gets the number 8 jersey, while Thurles Sarsfield's Conor Stakelum has been outstanding in recent games, so deservedly gets to start in this All-Ireland final. There are 2 Nina Aero hurlers in the Tipperary half-forward line, Jake Morris and Sam O'Farrell, while Andrew Ormond represents J.K. Brackens from Templemore at number 11. The Tipperary full-forward line are all potential match winners. Tara McCarthy, John McGrath and Jason Ford have scored 9 goals and 90 points in 7 championship matches. Truly remarkable by any barometer. The Premier County bench includes the McGrath brothers, Brian and Noel, Oisin O'Donoghue, but the one to really watch is Paddy McCormack, an All-Ireland under-20 medalist. It's his first time on the bench, and trust me, he's got the X factor. The referee is Liam Gordon from Killimer, County Galway.
Donal O'Cusack, goalkeepers obviously always play such a massive role, so you inevitably look at who has the advantage.
I think from a Tipperary point of view, firstly, it's interesting that Rhys Shelley didn't start in the first round. That was Hogan was in goals. I think he's been excellent. His puck-outs are fast, they can vary. He's a powerfully long puck-out. On the other side, then you've got Patrick Collins. I think Patrick's gotten better over the years. I always believe that a goalkeeper is a long-term investment, and you have to invest trust in them. And I just thought over this year, in terms of his puck-outs, his steadiness, his controlling balls, I think he's got improved. So between the 2 of them, I don't think there's that much of a difference that you could call out specifically in terms of an advantage on either side. All I'll say from a goalkeeping point of view, I hope to God we're talking about great saves today and that there isn't any of them makes an error that cost the team.
And I think just to build on that, Joanne, like the last time Tip played Cork in Croke Park was 2014. And my own clubman, Darren Leeson, who Cork didn't really know in the goals at the time, came in. Brendan was only after retiring, and he gave a masterclass inside in the goals in 2014 in that semi-final, in a game where Cork were probably coming in as favourites. So, you know, Rhys Shelley, I think, showed a lot, was in his locker the last day when the pressure was on. If he can have that same courage and deal with this cauldron in here today, I think he could have a big say, because I think if Tipperary can get their hands, I think for over the last 2 years, they've conceded 6-15 on their long puck-outs. So if Rhys Shelley can get that ball into Tipperary hand, I think he can make a big impact today.
And Darren is a man we're thinking of today, an All-Ireland final day as well. And Donal, just before we get Anthony's views on something else, where the sun is, does that affect, I know that sounds like a strange question to anybody at home, but the way it's coming through the clouds there, is it difficult for goalkeepers?
It's different to the September. When you were here, if you were playing an All-Ireland final in September, especially in the second half, it'd be just coming in over that top right-hand side. So of course it does. It's actually the most difficult opponent that you'll deal with in goals, because if that ball is coming in and you can't see it, and you've trained your mind and everything, and all the coaching got us to stay calm. All of these boys will be on about.
You're only there to puck it out.
Everybody wants to be a goalkeeper until the ball is dropping underneath the bar and you can't see it.
And no one on you. You're like the golfers, no one on you.
By the way, Robert Downey once again won the toss, and Cork have chosen to shoot into the Canal Davin end. So we'll just have a little pause, because it looks like Uachtaráin the Heron, August Uachtaráin Cumla Closcail are about to make their way out onto the pitch to meet the players ahead of throw-in.
Anish Garman Uachtaráin.
Lovely reception there from Michael D. Higgins and also for Charlotte Burns alongside him. Anthony, this midfield battle, would you have concerns for Tipperary?
Yes, there's no doubt about it. They've been mix and match them. They've been trying different combinations along the way. Both state clubs. Now Connor did really well the last day, Joanne. I mean, when they were under the cosh against Kilkenny and Malloy and Kenny were dominating. Connor Stakelin came up with 3 massive scores for them. Willie has been a little bit hit or miss, but if things fly for Willie early, he could be very good. I was a bit surprised maybe that Tynan didn't get a nod, but maybe they're looking to finishers or game changers. The other two powerhouses, 2 contenders for Hurlers of the Year. Mahoney the last day against Dublin. I mean, he's running. Fitzgibbon probably more comfortable there than he was at 11, even though there was so much made of the number 11 project. But the 2 of them now, the right age, neighbours, probably travel in together from North Cork, from Newtown and Charleville, and they certainly look the stronger combination, but yet sometimes that position can be bypassed by the goalies for all the world.
And I think also an interesting matchup will be, John McGrath is in the form of his life, Joanne, 5-14 in this championship, and Owen Downey, has had challenges at times throughout the season when it's a big but I think the brain that John McGrath has and the way he possesses to be able to get that ball into his hands, so I think that'll be one. And also I think Decky Dalton, I expect Owen Connolly will go and pick up Decky Dalton, so that'll be steel on steel, Joanne, for the first few minutes in the battle worth watching. But I think equally, if Owen Connolly could pick off a point or 2, which he's very capable of doing, it just might draw Declan Dalton back up the field, because I think Brian O'Mara will go into the centre back position and look to set up there with Rowan and dropping back. So I think the matchups are very, very intriguing right throughout the field.
And we did do a fair piece on the Cork attack, John, and
dive into 888 Casino, because it's made to blow minds. Relax. It's made for the unknown. It's made to take a chance.
It's just made to play.
Yeah, that works.
888 Casino, made to play.
And we didn't mention Alan Connolly specifically, really. I mean, 3-2 the last day from 7 touches of the ball.
And he loves goals against this crowd.
And honestly, I mentioned it the last day that for the semi-final, that the way he went up and took the penalty in the Munster final shows that he's almost nerveless in some ways, and that's a fella coming into an All-Ireland final. You like those guys that did not thinking about the occasion. They're saying, this was made for me and I was made for this, and they're often the guys that can turn it for you.
And I think that's the key point, Anthony. When there's a bit talked about, weight on your shoulders. All of these guys, as you know well, ever since they were under 12, under 14, competing, trying to get on teams, then getting onto the inter-county teams, getting onto the minor teams, then they're the best of their minors, then they move on to the under 20, under 21s, and then they go into a senior environment that's so competitive. You actually should love, I always believed, you love that weight. You love that challenge, and it hopefully will be used as a fuel by Cork. I remember us losing one All-Ireland final to Kilkenny and being back the next year, and before we left this field here, we spoke about that we were going to burn that feeling into our brains and never forget it.
Doesn't Ronan Maher look like he was determined to make the most of this occasion? Patrick Horgan, we can't not talk about Patrick Horgan. Do you know, Liam Sheedy, when Patrick Horgan made his debut?
Yeah, 2008 against.
Do you know what happened that day?
I do, yeah. I think we won 119 to 113 as far as I can remember.
It was Tipperary's.
You remember that,
it was Tipperary's first win in Cork since 1923. Patrick Horgan, this youngster, came on in the 68th minutes, not given much of a chance to make his impact then. But how much impact he has made since that day back in 2008. And the role that he still plays, Donaloe, within that team. I mean, you were there when he made the debut.
Yeah, I think Liam mentioned about Noel McGrath, but I think all of the players really, they've grown around Patrick in terms of, his views on the game, his commitment to it. He's fascinated by the game. He's totally focused on it. Every time I hear him saying that, I love hearing him saying it, but that's the standard that's expected. All those Tipperary young fellas that are coming out here today to play in it, they have to be totally engrossed in the game. They wouldn't get here otherwise. But back to Patrick, I think his whole presence, his whole demeanour, even if Patrick will come out and miss one free here today, and we've seen him missing certain handy frees, he still has that composure, and most importantly, that belief inside himself that he's going to get the next one.
But equally, Joanne, I think, you know, when you look at it, there's an awful lot of talk about the Cork foul. I think if I was Liam Cahill, like, this is a serious Tipperary foul line, and I think in Jake Morris is in line for the year. If he gets on ball, he's got the experience of getting big goals in under 20 games, under 21 games, and I think Jake Morris could have a really big game if he's not tracked today.
And who will be the dark horse, Joanne? Who will be the one?
There's always one, isn't there?
There is, you know, back right through the decades. 30 years ago this year, my buddy Fergie Toohey, 4 points in a tight game. You know, just one guy seems to come out of nowhere and just click on the day, and he's often the nerveless fella, the fella that doesn't let the occasion get to him, but he's just enjoying the whole thing.
And I think it's interesting, Joanne, last time we won in 19, Kilkenny had to come down and shake hands with us. That's one omen. And the second thing is, when we won when we won the All-Ireland in 10, in 16 and 19, we were in the dugout where Liam Cahill is today. So I'm telling you, there's a lot of omens looking good here today.
You worried, what's it like now? So Michael D. Higgins has come out, he's met all of the players. Is this when you start to relax, you start to get really tense?
Well, we want all this to finish. To be honest, I respect the President of Ireland. You've no more interest in the President of Ireland. It could be anyone coming out to say hello to you. You just want the game started. You just want to get on that ball, get things moving. That's what you want. You're here. The game is the game. To win the game. If you win today, you'll watch this times over and over again. If you lose it, you might never again watch it. Any of the All-Ireland finals I lost, I never watched them again, to be honest.
Liam Sheedy, the last 2 times that Tipperary met Cork, they had scored 12 points, Tip had by half-time. Cork had scored 3-16 and 3-15 by the break.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing, and I think Tip will set up. But equally, Joanne, when Cork came in here in the All-Ireland final in 2021, they only managed to raise 1 green flag. When they came in 2024, they only managed to raise 1 green flag. So the question is, will we have the Cork that we've seen all year, banging in goals at will, and especially going for teams early on, or will you have a little bit more settled approach from Tip, where they managed to keep it really, really tight? So that's what makes this game so intriguing, Joanne. You know, but both teams have the capacity to get goals. So yeah, let's see how it plays out.
We're only getting ready, actually. There's a little bit of a delay here, so they're only getting ready now to take their place in the parade. You can see, just looking at Pat Ryan, seeing Liam Cahill before, they're like Donal Logue. Get it over with, get that ball thrown in, let's see what happens.
Yeah, and it's very much out of their control as well, John. They'll have XYZ up their sleeve, but they're dependent now, and we mentioned both managers are very trustworthy of the bunch of men that they've been trusted to line out there and what they'll bring in from the sideline.
And one thing you do never forget is when you turn this corner that they're heading down into now, which is Muhammad Ali corner. Rarely called that, but that's Muhammad Ali corner there in Croke Park. And you turn and you face what seems a huge wall of Hill 16 around you. That's something that you'll never ever forget.
What is your sense, Liam Sheedy, especially when you listen?
Back to school? Intersport Elvery's has you covered. Buy one, get one half price on selected footwear. In-store and online at elverys.ie. T's and C's apply. Own it this term.
When you're setting up a new nest, starting your own flock, or they just keep on growing. At Very, get the flexibility you need. And pay in 3 with Take 3. 3 payments over 3 months and pay no interest. Plus, it's always available when you need it, including on our app. Shop the online store for fashion, home and more. Very. Ways to pay that work your way.
Listen to this and what it's like out there for the young players and for the Tipperary players who have those Celtic crosses already banked.
Oh, listen, I mean, it's realising your greatest dream, Joanne. I mean, your dream is to get in, to get to shake the hand, to get to walk behind the parade ring, or the parade. But most important of all is to go out there and be yourself on the biggest game of their lives in some cases for some of these younger players. I think the fact that they've won underage titles really helps because they're used to being in big matches and big finals. But I think You know, and again, Cork can tip down over the years. It wouldn't be unusual for a team to go at 6 or 7 up, another team to claw back. And I mean, this game will probably ebb and flow. I heard Eamon O'Shea talking about 4 quarters in this game. So I think generally what you get is you just get spontaneous, you get incredible skill, you get incredible scores. And I think that's what we're all looking forward to today. It's dried up, and I think it's set for a perfect game of hurling.
And I would say, Joanne, in this moment, you probably think of your family sitting there. It's very hard for them. I often thought of the people who coached me in the school and up through underage in my club, that they brought me to this day, and that was a proud moment for them.
And it means there are so many nerves. Interesting slip of the tongue from Liam Sheedy there mentioning parade ring. It does bring you back to the old Donkey Derby, doesn't it? They did, as you can see, a shorter parade there, so we're almost set to go in this absolute cauldron. A Rish Moss we live, so Tróca the fall off the le Tipperary, August Gary McDonagh, Air Serview, Air North News Channel, August Air North player. But our commentary team for the 2025 All-Ireland Hurling Final, Cork against Tipperary, it's Michael and Marty.
Thank you very much, Joanne. Well, since the J was founded in Thurles in County Tipperary 141 years ago, there has never been a day like this. Croke Park is packed to capacity, buzzing with excitement. The noise, the roars are reaching crescendo levels that are only reserved for All-Ireland final days in Croke Park. And look at the colours, 82,300 decked out in the red and white of Cork and the blue and gold of Tipperary. It's a special day. For the first time in history, you are watching an All-Ireland hurling final between the greatest of sporting rivals, rich in tradition that produced a galaxy of stars since their first meeting in 1888. Think Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali, Bjorn Borg and John McEnroe, Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, Kerry and Dublin footballers, think Cork and Tipperary hurlers. The history between these two can be both exhilarating, but also things can get a bit hot. Matches have been abandoned, like the 1926 Munster final, when the crowd invaded the pitch and rows developed everywhere. The match was only on for 25 minutes. And do you remember, or were you even born, for Richie Stekelenham's famous speech in 1987 when they beat the Rebels in the Munster final and he said the famine is over? That link with the past continues as Richard's nephew Conor Stekelenham plays in midfield today, and his brother Dara is a substitute for Tipperary. Richie's children, Eber is in London, Kira's in Shanghai and Conor's in Mexico, watching their cousin Conor march behind the Artane band. It's an emotional day for the Stekelenhams. It's 20 years since Cork won the All-Ireland. Mary McAleese was President of Ireland. Bertie Ahern was Taoiseach. Cork became the European capital of culture, and the M50 was completed. Roy Keane announced his retirement from international football and left Manchester United. Meanwhile, Tip footballers were winning the Tommy Murphy Cup. The parade behind the Artane band is part of the history. No other sport in the world parades the teams around the pitch. They have just completed it. It's traditional, and certainly for Robert Downey and indeed for Ron and Marr, it was a proud moment to guide their county around Croke Park. And here, although Cork are favourites, let me just give you one little tidbit. If Tipperary are looking for a sign, Port Rush has only held the Open 3 times, 1951, 2019 and this weekend. Who won the All-Ireland hurling titles in 51 and 2019? You got it, Tipperary. And today is a day I'm acutely aware which can be a little sad for families. There's an empty chair in the room and a family bereavement, and I've no doubt that the Tipperary hurlers today are thinking of the late Dylan Quirk, a brilliant hurler and teammate who died in Semple Stadium in Thurles 3 years ago. As we pause for a Ron of Ian. So this is it. It's actually 3:35 in the afternoon on Sunday, July 20th, 2025. Between Cork and Tipperary, they have 97 Munster hurling titles, 58 All-Ireland titles. But this, as I said earlier, is different. It's the first All-Ireland final ever between the Rebels and the Premier County. And for Liam Gordon from Killimer in County Galway, it is also his first All-Ireland final. Goodbye to form. Hello, passion and pride. This is the battle of the superheroes in a game of hurling, and the All-Ireland hurling final is on. Cork won the toss, deciding to play from left to right as we look at it. In other words, from Hill 16 down towards the Davin end, and they go into the attack immediately. This is Dermot Hurling from Liscool having his first shot of goal and sending it between the posts and over the bar. What a start for Liscool. What a start for Dermot Hurling.
They listen when you need someone to talk to.
They stand up when they see something that's out of order.
They set the example of how to be a team player,
an ally,
and a friend.
There are game changers in every community.
Speaking out against gender-based violence.
Making everyone feel they belong.
Everyone can play a part in stopping violence against women and girls.
It starts with you.
Join our movement, be a game changer.
Amphelios UV Immune 400 with Mixeril 400. The most efficient UV filter against the most penetrative UV rays. Recommended by dermatologists.
Dermot Hurling.
Yeah, great play there by Tim O'Mahony. Lovely little flick out. Looking at Ronan Maher has gone back on Brian Hayes. We're probably expecting that, and Owen Connolly moving out into the corner.
First puck out for Rhys Shelley. From Moikarki Boris going distance. Oh, beautifully caught by Mark Coleman. Ball into space, didn't really work out. Tipperary read it well. Sends it into the middle. Good work initially by Brian O'Mara, who anticipated it well. Going back to gather Sean O'Donoghue. Played really well against Dublin. Giving it back to his goalkeeper, Patrick Collins from Ballinhassig. Laying it off for the captain from Glen Rovers, Robert Downey. Downey going long. Cutting across is Brian O'Mara again, anticipating where Downey was going to send the slither. Giving it back to his keeper, Rhys Shelley. His first start in the championship was against Clare and Ennis, going for distance. 2 against 2 up front. Little touch knocked away. Robert Downey is there. Coming in to challenge is John McGrath. Downey going down it first time, second time. Gathers it. Tries to get the ball away. Come back is Niall O'Leary from Castle Lyons. Patrick Collins has the time and the composure. Giving it over for his Dara Fitzgibbon. Half blocked, Tipperary doing well. Opportunity to score. Coming forward is Sam O'Farrell, laying it off quickly. Opportunity coming for Tipperary, and that's over the bar. Good score, Tipperary, and a good response. The 2 number 10s with the first scores in this All-Ireland final. Jake Morris.
Yeah, and Jake has been in brilliant form. Just looking there, Brian O'Mara has gone loose at the back for Tipperary. They're playing with an extra defender. Craig Morgan has gone centre half back to pick up Shane Barrett. That's all about pace. 2 of the paciest players in the game. And here's Declan Dalton onto it.
Ball down for us, Declan Dalton, as Michael says. Referee Ian Gordon blows his whistle. He spotted the infringement. It's a free in for Cork.
Yeah, a bit of holding off the ball. I think Robert Doyle had a grip of Alan Connolly, and Ronan Maher had a grip of Brian Hayes. And I suppose that's what's going to happen today. They're going to be tightly marked. And just interesting there when Rhys Shelley got that last ball, he looked up, there was no spare man because Tip had a man back, so he just went long and eventually broke out. So there may be a little bit of a lack of pace in there with Jason Ford and John McGrath.
Patrick Horgan with his first point in this All-Ireland final. Coming into this big day, the climax of the championship season for the Rebels and indeed for Tipperary. Patrick Horgan had scored 3 goals and 50 points. Ball into the space. It was intended for Shane Barrett. Didn't quite work out. Coming forward is Ronan Maher. Giving it into the centre. Great pressure by Cork. Perhaps over-carrying, but they get away with it. Owen Connolly sends along the surface over to Sam O'Farrell, captain of the Tipperary under-20 All-Ireland winning team. He clenches the fists. But the ball is signalled wide. Disappointment for Sam O'Farrell. For Liam Cowell. He really has done a wonderful job. Tipperary, they were so heartbroken and disappointed not to come out of Munster last year.
Yeah, Marty, Willie Connors has picked up Declan Dalton. That's leaving Brian O'Mara loose. They're playing with 7 defenders, Tipperary.
Brian O'Mara, great interception by Conor Stakelin. Slither is loose and available, picked up by Robert Downey. Downey hopping the slither between his own 45 and 65, stepping away, thinking perhaps what he did against Clare. Oh, beautiful skill. Darren Fitzgibbon gets a little bit of space. He created himself, but is the ball wide? The umpires are unsure, and we're going to Hawkeye after 4 minutes and 22 seconds. But the skill of Jarrah Fitzgibbon really fooling the Tipperary defender, but just possibly tailing outside the post.
Yeah.
Is it a thaw or is it a kneel?
Well, the wind is after picking up significantly, Marty. We can see it here, our notes and papers being blown around the place. That's a wide ball. But this wind wasn't here during the warm-up, during anything. They were taking their shots, and this has added another layer, I suppose, to the game, makes it more difficult for the players.
Good puck out by Rhys Shelley, finding Andrew Ormond, one of the stars of the championship of 2025 for Tipperary. But this time he sends it wide, second wide in the match for the Premier County.
Yeah, a little bit of nerves. There were 2 good chances there, 3 good chances there. Fitzgibbon, Sam O'Farrell and Andrew Ormond, points that normally score, but that's a bit of jitters early.
And in the league final, Michael, and in the Munster Championship round robin, Cork scored 3 goals in the opening half. This is obviously a priority for Tipperary, not to concede any goals, but particularly 3 of them.
They want to keep it as tight as they can for as long as they can. We all knew that coming up here. But Cork will work the ball through the lines and try to score from distance. But this is great work by Tip again.
Tipperary are working hard. Good catch by Andrew Ormond. Great defending Mark Coleman. Back out for his own Connolly. 4 points against Limerick. 3 points against Kilkenny. And Owen Connolly raises a white flag down at the Hill 16 end.
Well, there's no doubt this man is going to be the highest scoring full-back of all time in the season. It's unbelievable the strike this man has him from both from frees and from general play.
Patrick Collins going for distance. Wind a factor in this opening half. As Michael said, it wasn't there in the parade, or it wasn't there earlier. They're queuing up, but the pass goes astray. Tipperary have the slipper once more, putting it into the centre. Coming forward is Brian Hayes, pulling on the ground. Good to see a bit of ground hurling in the All-Ireland final. Comes down to Jake Morris.
Shop at Europe's largest iPhone refurbisher and get free returns and a 12-month warranty. Join over 1 million plus happy customers. Shop now at swappy.ie.
Jake Morris, All-Ireland minor in 2016, All-Ireland under 21 in 2018. He's going for distance, he's going for a score, but that ball is left to the post and wide, third wide of the match for Tipperary.
And that's the trade-off. He looked down, there was only 2 forwards, and Robert Downey was standing in front of Sean O'Donoghue and Owen Downey, so he went from distance and wasn't on.
Ball into the space again, over towards Patrick Horgan, turning, and that too is outside the post. His traditional style of swinging the slither over his right-hand shoulder just not coming off this time. Rhys Shelley goes for a short puck out. Tipperary looking sharp. Darragh McCarthy turning, sending the ball in. 1 against 1. Breaking ball, knocked away. Robert Downey does well. Aided and abetted by the younger brother Owen. 2 All-Stars in 2024. Patrick Collins from Ballinhassig. I'm sure his president of Ballinhassig, Willie Coleman, is enjoying the fact that Patrick Collins is playing for Cork. Cork have the slither once more between the 45 and 65, and this time it's over the bar. Great score. Shane Barrett putting his name on the score sheet.
Yeah, what a shoulder here by Declan Dalton. He took out Willie Connors fairly, shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip, broke the Barrett over the bar.
Again, a good puck out by Rhys Shelley towards Brian O'Mara. Diagonal ball, spreading it wide. John McGrath. And the Tipperary forwards latching onto the loose ball, but they're finding it difficult to find the target. That is now their 4th wide, and there's only 8 minutes gone. Robert Downey. Kieran Joyce relieves the pressure. Batted away on this occasion. Diarmuid Healy scored a goal and 5 points in his league debut against Kilkenny. Sending it into the centre, crossfield ball. Tipperary should have the situation under control. Gone back is Willie Connors to Rhys Shelley. Again, he's going for the Cusick stand side. Chasing after this, Jason Ford. And John McGrath. Cork defence under a little bit of pressure. Good work by Sean O'Donoghue. Laying it off. There's Mark Coleman. Innes Carroll to Blarney. To relieve the pressure from a defensive position to the attack. Shane Barrett. He's a real speed wizard. Blarney trying to get inside the Tipperary cover and sending it from a very difficult angle. Despite the best work of Craig Morgan, Shane Barrett gets his second point of the match. Look at this, for sheer determination, skill, style, excellent. Going back to gather is Willie Connors. He's really matured, hit a fair shoulder by Tim O'Mahony, 8 on 8. Newtown, Shandrum and Killadangan. Tipperary had the slither, 50-50 ball. Chasing. Jason Ford was doing his best to get away. He was being held. The referee has blown his whistle, has given a free to Tipperary.
Yeah, and Shane Barrett, you mentioned him there, Marty, what a score. He started so brightly. He did the same in the All-Ireland final last year. Jason Ford did really well there, got out in front of his man. But Tipper just suffering a little bit because Cork have the extra man back there. They're playing in very much 50-50 balls, and Cork coming out with most of them. But having said that, will Darren McCarthy take the free starting or Jason Ford now? It looks like Darren McCarthy after the last day.
Darren McCarthy has a slither in his hand while his manager is looking on. Good management team with Michael Bevins, Declan Laffin and TJ Ryan, of course, part of the Tipperary backroom squad. It's Darren McCarthy that's going to take this break. He scored a goal and 33 points in the journey to Croke Park on this particular day, 25 frees. Now, when he departed the arena in the semi-final, Jason Ford produced the goods. That's over the bar.
Yeah, he's obviously out at wing forward now with the switches, just leaving the two men inside. And I see Andrew Orman gone in there, John McGrath gone out in the wing. I think they're just trying to inject a little bit more pace into that inside line with 2 against 3.
Patrick Collins going for distance. Tipperary should have the situation in control. Plenty of blue and gold there. One of them is Brian O'Mara from Holy Cross Ballycahill. Gets away from the challenge. No hook, no block. But again, the slither is being sent wrong side of the post and wide. That's a lot of wides in the opening 11 minutes to Tipperary. 5 wides.
Yeah, it's working very well what they're doing, but Brian O'Mara should have flicked that over the top. Darren McCarthy was loose inside him, and you know, that's 3 or 4 pot shots. They're not on the Ireland final. They're going to need them all.
Declan Jolton over his shoulder, but it's a bit adventurous from there considering the wind that has developed. 3rd wide of the match for Cork. And again, Rhys Shelley is going short versus captain Ronan Maher. Then delivers it long. Breaking ball, nicely picked up. Darren McCarthy trying to float this in. Patrick Collins is doing the umpire's job, and the umpire looks like he's in agreement with him. Is he going for a Hawkeye? I think he's going for a Hawkeye. He is.
Tired of horsing around? Settle up with Tony Bet today. Ride the season with our Galway Races promo. Plus, a welcome bonus ready to try over 6,000 slots anytime. Tony Bet, we're here to play.
He is.
I think that might have been in, but they're not aiming for the right post. The wind is obviously clearly blown into this left corner here.
Thor O'Neill, let's see. Looks like it's inside the post. The beauty of technology. Good call by the umpire as well. Second point for Darren McCarthy. Sides are level for the 3rd time. 12 minutes gone in this first half.
The Tip will be delighted with this. This is what they would have wanted, to keep it as tight as possible, and their tactic working so well so far. Brian O'Mara a lot of ball.
Sean O'Donoghue's. The hurley is the clash of the Ash in Croke Park. There's a hurley broken. Tipperary chasing and pursuing. Coming away with it, sending the ball away. The pass goes astray. Referee has blown his whistle.
John McGrath gave a slap on Kieran Joyce's hand there. You'll see it was coming out. Definitely a free out. Good spot by the ref.
Sean O'Donoghue just took an extra centimetre here. This is Kieran Joyce being fouled by John McGrath. Tickets were so difficult to get over the last couple of weeks, and the Tipperary crowd, certainly, and Cork as well, but Tip really were finding it difficult to get tickets. And if you look around Cork are dominating, I think, a little bit.
Marty, who are you telling? I was absolutely driven, demented with people looking for them, but some crowd from Cork managed to get them.
Patrick Collins going for distance. Dropping it inside that 40-metre line from Alan Connolly. Gone forward is Niall O'Leary. He's looking at the goalpost. He could score from here. And he floats it between the posts and over the bar. Good score by the cornerback from Castlelyne, who made his championship debut against Limerick back in 2019.
Yeah, super score to get up there. Great assist again there by Dermot Healy. Lovely hand pass after losing his hurl.
Cork forwards, interestingly now, after 13, almost 14 minutes, are pushing up on Rhys Shelley's puck out. So Mike Hartley Boris man goes long. Jake Morris, who's really developed this season to a wonderful hurler. Almost 1 foot on the sideline in front of the Cusack stand, but the ball is wide. 6 wide in the match for Tipperary. And with the shooting going slightly awry, I think that perhaps Liam Cowell should tell his forwards at least stay a little bit deep, let them drop it in.
Exactly, or maybe take on your man there. You know, like, you have to give credit to Rob Downey. He stood up and stood tall, but bad wide to get it from Jake.
Tim O'Mahony scored 2 goals and a point in the semi-final. Coming out together is Patrick Horgan, laying it back for us, Dermot Healy. And Healy sends it over the bar for his 2nd point of the match.
And that's just a magic first touch by Patrick Horgan. Look at the little hand pass. That's teamwork, that's beautiful skill and a lovely score. And Healy with 2 and Barrett with 2 now in the half-hour line.
6 points to 4 in favour of the Rebels. Well held in and kept in. Willie Connors, Sam O'Farrell, John McGrath, Owen Downey with it. Owen Downey fouling. John McGrath getting his free, but a little bit frustrated and not being given the freedom as Owen Downey came in here.
Yeah, and John McGrath, you know, what a player over the years. He was sort of out of the team for a couple of years there, but back this year. 5 goals in the championship as well this year, and you know, he's a big threat. There's probably 50-55 minutes in him. You normally see Noel coming in from, so you expect that's the ball, Marty, you spoke about a minute ago. Get it in front of him on the diagonal.
Captain St. Joseph's Nina CBS to their first Harty Cup, beating Ardskull Reach of Limerick a few years ago. Now just 19 years of age, already an under-20 All-Ireland medalist. That's Darren McCarthy, and that's his 3rd point of the game. 2 for frees, 1 for play. Collins again goes long. Tipperary trying to attack the ball. First coming forward is Craig Morgan. Darragh Fitzgibbon heading towards the 20-metre line. Puts it onto the left-hand side. Is it inside the post? It's good enough for the umpires. It's good enough for us. Good score.
Yeah, that was an unforced error coming out there, but look at the speed of Fitzgibbon. Sam O'Farrell was trying to follow him. He just turned on the afterburners and left him for dead.
Back to a 2-point game. Cork leading by 2. Declan Dalton has to help out his defence. Lays it back. Far as Robert Downey is getting on a lot of ball. Kieran Joyce controlling it eventually. Pumping it into the corner. But it's going to roll out over the sideline. Sideline ball for Tipperary. It's going to be taken by Michael Breen, who's, I think, apart from goals, has played in nearly every position for his county since he made his debut 10 years ago. And on that occasion against Limerick, he scored a goal after just being introduced. Tipperary come out with it. Liam Gordon gives...
People always talk about all the things they're all about. I don't know what it is that makes me feel like this. I don't know.
Now voting for House of Flamingo.
Must be some kind of superstar.
Liam Gordon gives the free. And considering the league, and I know Darren McCarthy was sent off in the round robin, but let's be honest, 18 minutes, almost 18 minutes gone, Tipperary will be pleased to know.
They will, and Cork really high balls in there. Ronan Maher very comfortable under that high ball with Brian Hayes breaking it away. But look, Cork will be happy enough too. They're still leading by 2, and the game will open up.
Rhys Shelley, Fitzgibbon Cup winner with UL in 2023, deflected away on this occasion. Tipperary scooping it up. Oh, great vision. Ball inside, opportunity for John McGrath, and that is over the bar. It was the vision that created the opportunity. After that, it was left to John McGrath. But great understanding between the 31-year-old Jason Ford and the 30-year-old John McGrath.
Pure magic, beautiful. And the two of them, Ford as well, like, you know, they've been brilliant servants to Tip. They look like their best years were behind them, but the two of them have really come back to top form this year.
Patrick Collins goes long. A boot has been lost. And the boot belongs to Dermot Healy. Referee explaining to the players why he's given the free.
Pulled the hurl out of his hand deliberately according to the ref, and Healy's movement is causing problems. Owen Connolly has gone to wing back in the reshuffle. He scored 2, and he's a big mobile man who's keeping Seamus Harnedy off the team. I know Seamus has been injured, but like, look down through that bench: Harnedy, Conor Lahan, Shane Kingston, and this man's got in ahead of them on form.
.37-year-old Patrick Horgan, lifting, striking and scoring. 2 frees, 2 points. And it is a 2-point game after 19 and a half minutes. Rhys Shelley has changed the tactic going long. Oh, fabulous catch. Full marks to Jake Morris. Look at the vision again, this time by Sam O'Farrell. Opportunity. It's the fullback, Connolly! He went for it. He hasn't scored a goal in the championship, but that is as close as you could get. Great vision by O'Farrell. Owen Connolly went for it. Had the goalkeeper beaten, but just inches, scraping the paint off the post at Hill 16. Meanwhile, the ball is dropping down. And it's his number 6 that's doing the hard work at full-back, Ronan Maher. Fingertips of the Tipperary man. Comes back to Cork. Darragh Fitzgibbon from Charleville. Scored 14 points up to this match. Has already scored 1 in this All-Ireland final. Ronan Maher again. Sending it down the middle. First touch is vital. Shane Barrett latches onto it. Tries to be hooked. Is hooked. Have to do it again. Tipperary are chasing and harassing these Cork lads. They're giving it everything, but watch this. It's an absolute beauty. Huggy! Patrick Horgan with his 3rd point of the match. The Glen Rovers man, following in the footsteps of Christy Ring and the former Taoiseach Jack Lynch. Sheer utter class, Patrick Horgan.
Brilliant score. It's out again. The puckouts are coming hot and heavy.
And away come Tipperary, looking for a response. Past the 20-metre line. It's Willie Connors. Willie uses a short grip at the hurley, and he sends that over the bar. Good response. Very good response by Willie.
Absolutely, and you know, Tip a couple of unforced errors. Ronan Maher had that ball, passed it out to Andrew Arnold. He lost it straight over the bar. He can't afford to make a mistake, but it's on again.
Well won by Owen Connolly, doing his primary job, defending. Jake Morris laying it off. Backfires ball, great block down. Full marks to Tim O'Mahony. Rob Downey. Sending it up towards Patrick Horgan. Tipperary defenders attacking the ball, doing what the old cornerbacks used to. Go in front of your man. Comes back out as Darragh Fitzgibbon. Will it curl? The umpires give the nod of the head. It's his 2nd point of the match. Charleville in North Cork and around Doneraile would rejoice with a score like this. Quick puck out again from Rhys Shelley. Gives the ball away rather easily. That doesn't happen anytime to Brian O'Mara. Picked up by Darragh Fitzgibbon. Beautiful stick work. Look at the wrist work. Giving it back again for Dermot Healy. Healy looks at the 45-metre line. Uses a short grip and puts that over for his 3rd point of the game. He won an All-Ireland minor in 2021, an All-Ireland under 20 in 22, and if he gets a senior All-Ireland, he'd follow in the footsteps of the great Willie Moore, who is the only All-Ireland medalist back in Liscool. Wonderful. 3 points on the trot from Dermot Healy.
Yeah, and there's 3 there from unforced errors by Tipperary. They're after losing possession on a few occasions. Great work by Cork. Darragh Fitzgibbon on young Sam O'Farrell in the middle of the field. He's getting on an awful lot of ball and causing a lot of trouble.
Long puck out by Rhys Shelley. Grabbed superbly. Full marks to Kieran Joyce. Again, Tipperary having to work hard against the beautiful artistry being provided by players like Darragh Fitzgibbon. Patrick Horgan from the middle of the field under severe pressure. Will it go over? Yes, it will. Fabulous score. Jason Ford with his 2nd point of the game.
Yeah, there was an advantage given there. That's a brilliant strike, and you have to credit like Tipperary. They're working really, really hard, but they are giving up that possession. And as I say, Fitzgibbon, Healy, Barrett getting on a huge amount of ball.
Ball is plucked out down in the direction of Tim O'Mahony, trying to get away from the shackles of his opponent, Conor Stapleton. Brian Hayes getting his first touch, playing it off. Referee has blown a whistle, and he's given a free to Cork. Brian Hayes is looking to know why.
Back to school? Intersport Elbreeze has you covered. Buy one, get one half price on selected footwear. In-store and online at elbreeze.ie. T's and C's apply. Own it this term.
Because he thinks there was a better opportunity for Cork here.
Gave it there just, I suppose, a bit of a pullback. There wasn't a whole lot in it. It was close quarter stuff. But look at Tim O'Mahony when he got the ball. He was looking for a goal. He was trying to engineer that effort, and Cork really begin to get into their stride now.
Patrick Horgan made his debut for Cork against Tipperary in 2008, 17 years ago.
And interestingly, Marty, Cork have pushed up the field. They're not leaving anyone back. They're only playing with 5 backs, and they're going after the Tipperary lads. And that's why I think they've turned over 3 or 4 balls. It's working really well for them as well.
Brian O'Mara to Craig Morgan to Sam O'Farrell. Dropping it in. Breaking ball again is vital. Picked up by Niall O'Leary. Challenged by Darragh McCarthy. Tim O'Mahony gets a touch. 50-50 ball. Down goes Darragh Fitzgibbon. Gathered instead by Darragh McCarthy. McCarthy from Toomey Barra. Breaking ball comes over this side. In comes Andrew Ormond. Ormond under severe pressure. Great work by Declan Dalton, who's the left half forward, not the left half back. The work rate by Cork is equally as impressive as what we've seen from Tipperary in the opening 25 minutes. Look at this for tenacity and determination by Declan Dalton.
Yeah, and Conor Stapleton, just a little bit silly there, came in over the top. But it is interesting. I think Cork are looking at their defence. They're saying, we have the pace back there. We don't need an extra cover, any extra cover back there. And they're trusting their men to go man for man, which is brave. It's all right till Tip get a goal, but they're dealing very well with the high balls, and Tip not winning the break.
Declan Dalton from around Ballymacoda and Ladies Bridge hits this. He has a powerful puck of a ball. Scored 1 goal and 12 points to this All-Ireland final. That's his first point today. Puck out again from Rhys Shelley is a good one to Craig Morgan. Andrew Ormond is calling for it. It's duly delivered. In comes Mark Coleman. Again, the first touch has to be right. Mark Coleman has judged to have been fouling the centre half forward from Templemore. That's going to be a free for the Premier County. And there was just a little bit of a push there.
Little nudge. I think the ref had given an advantage, and he played it on when Ormond got the ball. I think Tip now would be looking. This is a big free for Darragh McCarthy, not an easy one, and they just want to settle things down again. They're 5 down.
He was only 17 in 2022. He was a sub in every game as Tipperary won the minor All-Ireland against Offaly. And look at how he is now playing in the starting 15 for Tipperary. You can do it if you can persevere and believe in yourself. And for Darren McCarthy, that's his 4th point of the match.
And that's a huge one. The crowd are getting onto him, but that's his preamble. He's a very, very unique way. He stops when you think he's going to take it, throws up the piece of grass, and the Cork crowd are giving him plenty of stick, but he's well able for it.
4 points between the teams. 3 times they've been level. Cork go in pursuit of more scores, batted away on this occasion. Little flick on, great understanding, I must say, between Tipperary. And away goes Sam O'Farrell. Took a little bit too much out of it, but the referee is given the advantage. In comes Jake Morris, makes an angle and flicks this between the post and over the bar for a 2nd point of the game. And Nina Aerogue special, a cocktail between the two Nina boys.
Yeah, brilliant work by Sam O'Farrell. But Niall O'Leary took the short puck out and ballooned the ball up in the air. Terrible delivery. Sam O'Farrell, that's his first real impact in the game. He'd be delighted with that.
3 points again between the teams. Ball bobbling around the place, but Cork have it. Under pressure, hits it high and hits it between the posts and over the bar. Alan Connolly scored 4 goals on the journey to Croke Park. 3-2 against Dublin, you will recall. Gets his first real opportunity here today, and he takes it.
Yeah, his first touch, I think, that I can remember. Michael Breen doing a very tight marking job on him, but a nice score.
Sam O'Farrell laying it off. Great work by Robert Doyle. Clanouty Rossmore. You can play him anywhere. Not alone a defender, but an attacker. His first point in the All-Ireland final, and it's a memorable one. Beautiful score. And Tipwin, the high dropping ball. Willie Connors again, spraying it wide. Perhaps hit this a little bit too hard. Jake Morris having to do all the hard work. Cork there with Sean O'Donoghue. Puts it into the centre towards Robert Downey, the captain, driving it into the space. Big man, big hands, big player. Brian Hayes turning, shooting, and sending that over the bar. Lovely, beautiful score by Cork. And Brian Hayes, all of 6'2", 24 years of age, puts that between the posts.
Yeah, you can have all the spearmen back you want when you get a ball like that. What a ball by Downey, what a take by Hayes, and that's the score of the game so far.
Rhys Shelley. Tipperary deciding to play that one-man full forward line with a lot of the ball being sent in wide. Loose ball again, this time it's John McGrath.
Swappy iPhones are refurbished by experts in Europe using our own 52-step process, which is why we have over 1 million happy customers. Swappy, around for good. Visit swappy.ie.
On the Beach have launched free price drop protection. Don't gamble on last minute prices. If the price of your summer holes drops after you've booked, you can claim credit for the difference back. Oh yes, you heard right. There's nothing to lose. So stop booking around and go to onthebeach.ie. On the beach.
McGrath. Getting it back outside. Oh, lovely skill again by Willie Connors. He's going for it, but it's gone left and wide. It remains 15 points for Cork, 11 points for Tipperary. Ball into the space for Shane Barrett. Again confronted by Craig Morgan. Barrett going for the score. Cork crowd love it. In Kazakhstan and in Davin end. And he gets his 3rd point of the game. When he gets the ball, I have to say, Michael, he's really posing problems for Tipperary, isn't he?
Oh, he's lethal. And Craig Morgan's very, very pacey player, but Barrett, his movement off the ball there, but that's Robert Downey again. He's been left loose on the ball. His deliveries are brilliant, and he's causing Tipperary an awful lot of trouble. They need to put someone on him, whoever they leave loose after that.
Good work by Michael Breen. You can see he's a good sidestep. That's why he played in the forwards previously. Ball is just touched on beautifully by Jake Morris. There's Jason Ford. Great blocking, great defending. Cork. Mark Coleman sending it into the space again, towards Alan Connolly. Gathers it. Twisting, turning, laying it back. Calling for it is Robert Downey. He changes direction. He sends it over towards Brian Hayes, but it's half blocked to Tipperary. Have the ball once more. Bursting out of the Tipperary defence, sending it straight down the middle. One man up. That happens to be John McGrath. First touch is good. Owen Downey trying to confront him. Referee, I think, has blown his whistle, and the ball is hit in. It's hit wide, but the referee, Liam Gordon, has blown his whistle. And I think he's going to show a yellow card here as well.
Just persistent fouling. That's
persistent fouling, yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Marty.
But since Liam Cahill changed the tactics and the ball is going in to the full forward line, in towards John McGrath, it just seems that Tipperary getting a little bit more out of it.
I agree with you, Marty. Look, John McGrath's movement again, they're very, very good. And Tipper just hanging in there at the minute. Cork really up in the pace. They have huge athleticism all over the field. But look, this will bring it back to 4. And, you know, it's at the start of the game, I'd say Tipper said at half-time, be within 3 or 4 or 5 points. No goals on the clock. But Cork are showing their versatility. They can score from out the field. They have that movement as well.
Darren McCarthy with his own unique style. But if it works for him, that's fine. It's his 5th point of the game. 4 of them from frees. It's a 4-point game in 32 minutes. Cork 16 points, Tipperary 12. But this was beautiful stick work by John McGrath, but fouled by Owen Downey. And that could well be a factor before the 70 minutes plus is registered. Craig Morgan trying to burst out of the Tipperary defence, wins himself a free. The foul was produced by Alan Connolly, holding on to him. Morgan bursting, being held back by Alan Connolly momentarily. Liam Gordon telling Owen Connolly to go back. Going to take this free just inside the Tipperary 45-metre line. Liam Cahill must be reasonably pleased. 33 minutes, no goals conceded, and very much still in contention. 16 points to 12. Owen Connolly dropping it in, dropping it in! It's in the net! Was it Jason Ford?
He's giving a free out.
The referee, however, is giving a free out to Cork for a square ball. With 82,300, you couldn't hear the referee's whistle. The ball dropped in. Tipperary rejoiced, only to be that emotion to be turned around in seconds by the referee saying it was a square ball.
Yeah, we look at it here. He was in the square before the ball. What a brilliant touch. The referee called it very, very quickly. If you look at it there, marginal as they always are, and I'm sure the lads will have a good look at it at half-time.
It looked initially like it was a square ball, but we'd have to review it. Meanwhile, it's Dermot Haley giving the ball in towards Brian Hayes. Lovely stick work, great defending. Back out there is Declan Dalton. Dalton flicking it, and this time sending it wide.
That's unbelievable. Sorry, Maher, that's great defending. Ronan Maher is having some game here. I know Brian Hayes has been brilliant this year, but Maher, what a servant for Tipperary Hurling. But he stood him up there, he took the ball off, and brilliant, clean defending.
40 seconds to go in this opening half, but I'm sure there'll be time added on. Great catch by Owen Downey, and Cork coming out with it. Tipperary hooking, blocking, getting the hurling in. Ball into the space, but there's nobody there. Brian O'Mara going long. Patrick Collins comes off his goal line. Sends it over for as Niall O'Leary. 2 minutes of additional time, I believe, is going to be added on. Good play, Tipperary, I was about to say, but Alan Connolly intercepted it. No free given. Free is actually given out for throwing the slipper. Now listen to the 82,300. Cork are furious. Tip are absolutely delighted. It's an emotional spectrum in Croke Park.
And that's straight into the back, Marty. Like, that's a free in all day long. Watch it, into his back. He avoided it, actually. Connolly swung out of the way to draw the free.
Jake Morris, meanwhile, sends this in, but the referee is going to acknowledge the umpire's decision. The ball is wide. Not for the first time. Jake is a little bit unlucky with his shooting. It remains Cork 16 points, Tipperary 12. Mark Coleman. Patrick Horgan, beaten this time by Michael Breen. Nice turn. It's Tipperary. Shoot from way out the field. Is it on target? It's a brilliant score. Darragh McCarthy with his second point from play. 6 points overall. And as they will be heading to the dressing rooms very shortly, right now it's only 3 points between them.
That's some
One score.
That is some score again. And look, you can't take your eye off this for a second. Here's Tim O'Mahony.
Tim O'Mahony, straight from Patrick Collins' puck out, has a goal, but the ball has gone to the right and wide. That's Cork's 5th wide of the game. In terms of wides for Tipperary, they've had 9.
When you're setting up a new nest, starting your own flock, or they just keep on growing. At Very, get the flexibility you need and pay in 3 with Take 3. 3 payments over 3 months and pay no interest. Plus, it's always available when you need it, including on our app. Shop the online store for fashion, home and more. Very. Ways to pay that work your way.
Three points between them. Play continues on. Coming forward was Owen Connolly, but it's Robert Downey that comes away with it. Little flick on, beautiful hurling, and it's that man again. Shane Barry's going for it. Brilliant goal. An absolute beauty. Unstoppable. Barrett. The whiz kick from Blarney rattles the back of the Tipperary net at a crucial moment in the game. 2 minutes and 13 seconds into injury time, and Cork got the first goal of the game.
Yeah, great play. Robert Downey, first of all. Ronan Maher won the ball. John McGrath was looking for it long. He chose to go short to Darragh McCarthy, overturned by Downey. He played a 1-2 with Mark Coleman, who flicked a lovely ball into Barrett. And what a goal. This man has been on fire in the first half. You mentioned him in the commentary, Marty. And I make that 1-3, 1-4 that Tip have turned over themselves. Ball they've had that they didn't go long with the lost possession. And that's a huge play just on the stroke of half time. It could be a massive game changer.
But it has been obvious that Shane Barrett was causing Tipperary problems, right? From every time he touched the ball, got 3 points in play.
He was, but that's what happens in broken play. They're so dangerous when you turn over that ball. Rob Downey scored a goal from there last year himself, and he won the ball and went to full length. Half time.
The referee blows the half-time whistle. There was a bit of afters, as you saw. But Cork and Tipperary want to go in at different times with this, as you can see in the tunnel. Passions are aroused. Despite the best officials trying to ensure that they come in at different moments, they're coming in together. There's a bit of turmoil, but the security there are doing a great job, led by a Tipperary man, as it turns out, Robert. So good work, everything is now calmed down. 3 times they've been levelled in the first half. But at half-time, Shane Barrett has scored a goal and 3 points, and that's the difference between the teams at GA headquarters. Half-time in All-Ireland Senior Hurling Final Day. Cork, 1 goal and 16 points. Tipperary, 13 points.
Lash of the ash. Not as fun when you're on the other side of the hurley, let me tell you.
Where there's hurling, there's Centra.
Just one turn, the train won't leave.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. Physically fit, physically fit, physically. Come on. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it.
Harvey Norman, your home appliance specialists. Keep your food fresher for longer with Samsung Series 8 with Twin Cooling Plus feature, designed to maintain ideal humidity and prevent odour for $1199. Plus, get a €50 Harvey Norman gift card. Or enjoy more room for your weekly shop with Samsung Series 6 with Space Max design, with extra space and all-round cooling for $1399. Plus, get a €100 Harvey Norman gift card. Harvey Norman, your home appliance specialists. The official stat sponsor of the GAA.
Go!
Right. Match Saturday. Recovery Sunday. Gym Monday.
Johnny B. Lee? What are you doing in my bath? Saving a few bob in the energy. You know yourself, man. Just switch to Board Gosh Energy. That'll save you a few quid. I'll keep that in mind.
Board Gosh Energy, proud sponsor of the GAA All-Ireland Senior Hurling Championship.
Have you room for one more, lads? Centra has all the fresh food you need to chase it! Chase it, Finton! Sorry, right. So if you're absolutely weak with the hunger, eat him, Michael! Eat him! Where was I? Centra's delicious egg muffins. They're, tasty hurling.
Where there's hurling, where there's hurling, there's Centra.
Need broadband?
You're grand.
This works off 5G. It doesn't need cables.
You just plug it in and you're good to go.
Some speed.
What if we threw in a landline?
It's wireless.
There is another way to broadband. 3 5G home broadband from €20 a month for up to 12 months.
There's a new icon in town. The Big Arch for big McDonald's hunger.
Susan, I'm your insurance policy. What more do you want?
I want an out bonus.
An out bonus?
You want something back. 10% back. In cash.
No.
After 3 years claims free. Straight into my account.
With Outsurance, you always get something out. Call us today for a competitive car and home insurance quote.
Ayr, proud sponsors of the GAA Hurling All-Ireland Senior Championship.
He was in the running for Hurler of the Year last year, but he's been a bit quieter this year, right up until Shane Barrett exploded into life in the opening half of the All-Ireland final, and it is his being on form that has Cork on top of the break. They lead by 6 points, 116-13, and it was really that late burst there that did so much of the damage, Donald.
Yeah, a lot of the game was nipped from tuck from that. It was really set up in terms of Tip have decided that they're going to not give Cork space on the other side. But then there's the trade-off. It's really hard to keep stopping a team like Cork not being able to work the ball. I would say at the start of the game, Cork were that bit off. Tip turned them over. But over the game, over the development of it, you're going to get chances like that. It's so hard on your attackers. Cork have pushed up interestingly then on those puckouts. And that last score, I know it obviously is a goal. It's going to be critical.
Let's have a look at it then.
In the first half. But it's so important from a Cork point of view. So again, here we'll see it, like Tipper trying to, at times when they've got that space, when you're looking at the Cork defence, it's 5v5. Downey's been really good in possession. Calm, never pushed. Excellent ball from Coleman. I'll tell you this, you can see Tip have more defenders there. Fair play to Barrett for going for that, because the game is nip and tuck enough. Like, Cork's shooting efficiency has been way better, 77% versus 52% from a Tipperary point of view, and Tip have hit more wides, but that was not an easy finish. So Cork will be really, and that's the way forward for Cork. They have to keep their composure if Tip are going to keep giving them more bodies on the other side of the field.
And significantly, Joanne, it seemed as if the 3 or 4 moments coming up to that were all about Tip and back to 3 points, and everything began to suit them. And he's right, Dunloe, because you have to remain patient. And then when the chance comes, Barrett knew the chance was on, took it on in the few steps and buried low to the far corner.
But not everything was suiting Tipperary, because they felt they should have had a go when Jason Ford was ruled to win in the square.
Absolutely, Joanna, and a huge moment. Again, I felt it was too far for Owen Connolly. I was probably right on that. Now, this is very inconclusive. I don't see there's the ball. Is he inside before the ball? Michael said he was in commentary. He probably is. How the hell does he play it? The umpire makes no signal whatsoever, and Liam decides from out where he is. You see on the football arc that shouldn't be there, but he decides out there that that's in the square. So I find it very hard to call it.
Well, is it possible that he gets the signal that
it must be the umpires? The umpires have to call it.
Do a thing though.
The umpires must call it. Like, from a Patrick Collins point of view and a Sean O'Donoghue, they're not going to be happy with that. It's amazing over time. It's like an industrial.
Should be playing it anyway.
It's an industrial issue between goalkeepers and fullbacks. That ball should be suiting the defenders, but it must be the umpires that are calling it from that stage.
And it was a marginal call, and often when you see the situation, I mean, it was one that Cork should have defended. Sometimes the marginal call can go your way. It's very, very hard to know whether it was or it wasn't, but Tipperary will feel aggrieved because, you know, Jason, it was a wonderful finish, but whether it was or wasn't, it's very hard to know even from watching in the replay.
We understandably made a big deal about how Tipperary were going to keep this full forward line of Cork's under control in this game. Every time Brian Hayes got near the sliotar, he seemed to be swarmed. But then, did that allow other players come into the game as a result?
Yeah, well, I think the Tip backline have got an awful lot right in that first half. I mean, you'd be massively proud of some of their defending. But like, this Cork team, this Cork forward line is very, very good. And Shane Barrett, you know, he's a guy that probably, you know, I think he had 2.14 coming into the All-Ireland final last year, hasn't found the same heights. And you're always worried about a player like that coming into an All-Ireland final. And I think he's lived up to that billing today. He's been very, very good. But like, Tip have really gone toe-to-toe. And, you know, Darragh Fitzgibbon, I think Darragh Fitzgibbon, Diarmuid Healy and Shane Barrett are probably the 3 that Tip haven't managed to tie down. They've done an awful lot right. But again, Diarmuid Healy, it's just his pace. I mean, you know, you think he had a bit of fumble there, but he just puts on the burners, drives forward, and all of a sudden he's in space. So, like, some of those scores have been very, very good. And, like, they're very, very... I thought at times, like, Brian O'Meara really was disruptive to how Cork wanted to get their hands on the ball, and done very, very well. But at times, Cork have managed to counteract that, and when they did, it looked very good. But there was times when Niall O'Leary was coming through, blazing down ball, and Tip were an advantage. But I think we've seen moments of when Cork do find flow in that outside forward line, because their inside forward line has been well shackled. It's tough to manage.
Okay, it is tough to manage. Tipperary are still in their 6 is certainly not an insurmountable lead. We're going to get a slightly different view when we come back just before the second half.
Tired of horsing around? Settle up with Tony Bet today. Ride the season with our Galway Races promo. Plus, a welcome bonus ready to try over 6,000 slots anytime. Tony Bet. We're here to play.
It's all heating up now. Oh, it is, yeah.
We move Ireland's energy through one of Europe's most modern gas networks. And now we're moving Ireland's energy in a new way.
bringing more sustainable sources into the pipeline. Gas Networks Ireland, moving Ireland's energy.
Centra has all the fresh food you need to chase it! Chase it, Finton! Sorry, right. So if you're absolutely weak with the hunger, eat him, Michael! Eat him! Where was I? Centra's delicious egg muffins. They're, tasty hurling.
Where there's hurling, there's Centra.
I used to think that love was just a fairy tale.
The moment I feel my pain starting to fade, it's like I'm going back to myself on a good day. Panadol Extra Soluble. Powerful pain relief. Panadol. Release starts here.
My Future Fund, the new auto-enrollment retirement savings scheme, is coming. You pay in, your employer pays in, and the state tops it up. It all adds up to a great way to save for your future. And something to look forward to. For more information, visit gov.ie/auto-enrollment. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
Right. Match Saturday. Recovery Sunday. Gym Monday.
Johnny B. Lee? What are you doing in my bath? Saving a few bob in the energy. You know yourself, man. Just switch to Board Gosh Energy. That'll save you a few quid. I'll keep that in mind.
Save up to €822 on dual fuel with the Smart Weekend plan for Board Gosh Energy.
Have you room for one more, lads?
Tá curamach agat chean urchar na haireann dar leat. Ach seans gur mithid duit brathnú as an nua Spléicha as an gná na scéalta is orsa, blasad den splóder. Céim chéim lo siúd a tháinig roin. Ordú crí le sean chóide. Is cóide nua.
I can't believe there's Vikings in Wexford. I know, it's mad, isn't it?
Cuinnig ag achtriacht. Is sean urchar na haireann.
Lash of the ash. Not as fun when you're on the other side of the hurley, let me tell you.
Where there's hurling, there's Centra.
And you're welcome back. We're here at Pitchside Live with Brendan and Henry. Cork are 6 points up. They're 35 minutes away from a first All-Ireland title in 20 years. And supporters everywhere, including Donald Holland from Ballyroe, they'll be absolutely delighted. Brendan, what are Cork doing right in that half? They faced into the win now.
Well, I think they were doing an awful lot, I suppose, wrong in a lot of ways, in that they were hitting the ball long. Brian O'Mara's been sitting back on the edge of the D. Normally you see a guy sitting between the 45 and 65, but he's been sitting right back. The other end of the field, unusually, they don't have anyone sitting. They're pressing on Tipperary. They just got that break in the finish, and Barrett got through for that goal. Up on the lane, Tipperary's plan was working really well, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think the goal, that's the danger with Cork. That busted pace, that explosiveness of Barrett for those 3 steps. It got him closer to the goal back in the net. But Tip, to be fair, had stifled him, had Cork wondering a little bit. They were a little bit tentative, a little bit nervous. I'm just afraid now that goal was going to give them momentum to Cork.
Do you think Tipperary can fight back from this now, or are they on the ropes now?
No, I wouldn't say on the ropes. They get time, actually. They go in a lot of ways. I know it's a killer before half-time, but Liam Cahill has him inside there for 15 minutes now to steady up. He knows there's a bit of a breeze. The breeze is blowing down into the Davin end there. It's not a 7 or 8 point breeze, but it'll certainly help the Tipperary backs to deliver the ball longer and force Cork to play out.
But I think the great conundrum is he had 7 defenders in the first half. Can you win the All-Ireland with 7 defenders in the second half? I don't think you can, so it'll be interesting to see what's going on in the Tip dressing room for half-time.
All right, Henry, Brendan, thank you so much for your time. Back to you, Joanne.
And that is the big question, isn't it? So you want to just pick up on the point that they made, because that was one of the key, until we saw that very end with that Barrett goal and the square ball. That was the key of that opening half, the Brian O'Mara positioning.
Yeah, because we spoke before the match about the space in the 10 box, and Tip have made a decision to say they're not going to leave that pocket open. Brian read it, done really well. And again, like watch across, he's got men across from him and he goes long and he goes for the point, and you'll see the angst on Liam Cahill's face. So when you do go that way, you've got to make sure you use the ball well. And again, Tip have had 9 wides. They need to make sure they're smarter on the ball.
Yeah, we kind of disagreed about that at half time when Liam spoke about Tip going for toe-to-toe. Tip have gone all-out sweeper. Brian O'Mara sitting there as much as possible. What was talked about Dublin not done. No, when you do that, like we said, you're trading off here in the middle of the field, so you're putting fierce pressure on your other players to deal with all of those runners. And then on the other side of the field, what you're dependent, and you can see what Liam Cahill was so frustrated over there. He was roaring, you must work that ball through the line. You're not going to score in Croke Park from that distance with a swirling wind. It'll be really interesting to see if Tip keep that structured approach in the second half, because
Henry
it's hard to see how they'll finish out that
He
way.
asked the question, didn't he?
Yeah,
Can you win an All-Ireland with 7 defenders?
Traditional final, Joanne, untraditional approach, +1 back there. He has played well, Brian has. One thing I would say though is you can't mark pace. One-on-one, Dudsey, Barrett. Fairness to Willie Connors, he's done a fair job on keeping Declan Dalton fairly quiet. Ronan has been outstanding on Hayes. Hayes still got a point from play, won a free. There's been little suggestions. I would say the goal is the killer score though, but that's the pace. It's very hard to mark.
But equally, I suppose the 116-13 probably makes you talk about the outcome. And the reality is, if Owen Connolly had to net that goal and Jason Ford's goal had to stand, we'd be sitting here at 2-13 points and you'd be saying, this is a masterclass by Liam Cahill. The trade-off is, yes, I agree, you're down a man up front, but we will create goal chances and we have stifled the inside forward line.
Can you win it with the 7 defenders, or do you need to change?
Well, I think we can flux up and down, so I don't think we'll be all out 7 for all the time.
Shove up now, Liam, surely.
Yeah,
6
I think
points
they'll
down.
definitely shove up.
Let's find out what they do. We go back to Michael and to Marty.
Thank you very much, Joanne. Out of that 116 that Cork scored in the first half, 1 goal and 12 points come from play, which is quite an impressive statistic. So Pat Ryan deciding obviously to start the same team, and we're just confirming that Willie Connors and Declan Dalton both got yellow cards there by the referee, just confirming that information from the sideline. Cork are a half an hour and plus 35 minutes from that All-Ireland title, but Tipperary also have 35 minutes. They're down a little bit after that goal, that sensational goal by Shane Barrett, deep into injury time. So now, that's just confirmation on our your TV screen, Declan Dalton and Willie Connors. This is for the incident down the tunnel that you've just captured on our cameras, and just Willie getting a yellow card as well. So now, everything to play for. The climax of the championship of 2025 is going to happen before your eyes and ears right now. The very first All-Ireland final between Cork and Tipperary. Patrick Horgan scored 4 points. One of them was an absolute beauty, in case you missed it. First free of the second half is going to the wrong side of the post as we're going to Hawkeye. Yes, we are. The body language said it all. There was uncertainty amongst the umpires.
I think Patrick Horgan's body language would tell you it was wide, I'd say, but maybe I'm wrong.
Let's see. It's close enough, but it is a kneel. Ball is wide.
Hi, I'm Ken Doherty. For all van drivers and business owners, InsureMyVan.ie is Ireland's low-cost van and commercial insurance specialist. For high-quality van and all commercial insurances, call InsureMyVan.ie.
City Financial Marketing Group Limited, trading as InsureMyVan.ie, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
And that's a let-off, because I think, Marty, the big thing here is if Cork can stay 6-7 points up, Tip are going to have to change tactics and push forward, which will give Cork more room. And the Tip starting forward line have only scored 6 points from play. That's not going to win you an Ireland final. So they're just trying to stay in it as long as they can.
Ball is loose. Jake Morris did all the hard work, but he wasn't fouled. Tipperary on the attack. Front of the Cusack stand. Will it go inside the post? Absolutely. Good score. Taking off the stick of Dara Conor Stakelum. Scored 3 points against Kilkenny. He was powerful against Kilkenny in the All-Ireland semi-final. But then, as we mentioned at the beginning in our introduction, it's in the DNA.
Yeah, and his father Conor as well won a 21 in Ireland against us back in '89. Great score. He's been really trying to mark Tim O'Mahony, who hasn't been on the ball that much, and he'll be delighted to get that score.
Ball is sent along the ground towards Andrew Ormond. Surely he's being fouled. The referee's blown his whistle. The advantage is up. I think he's going to give the free anyway, or is he? No! Good refereeing by Liam Gordon. Great work by Andrew Ormond. 2 goals and 13 points on the way to Croke Park. He really has been sensational. 2-1 against Clare. This is his first point in the All-Ireland final. But boy, did he have to work for it. Great score.
Yeah, that's a great start to the second half by Tip, and the Cork went short there, lost a lot of long puckouts in the first half, but this worked for them.
Ball sent in. Good ball as well by Dermot Healy. Latching onto it is Patrick Horgan. Tipperary are there in numbers, including Brian O'Mara. That's going to be a free for the Premier County. He picked up an injury in the process. Pulled down here by Alan Connolly.
Yeah, and Ron O'Mara showing all his experience there. You know, he blocked off the passage. Brian Hayes was trying to get back in the ball. He just hooshed him out, and Brian O'Mara comes back, and you know, he's working really well. They're trying to force Cork to go long. They're going to try to go short and work the extra man with the puck out, so it's going to be intriguing stuff.
Rhys Shelley. Beaten in the first half by an absolute rasper of a shot. Patrick Collins. Stepping out of his large rectangle. His goalkeeper coming out here. Seemed to be touched there by John McGrath, which obviously was not allowed. And this is a free for the Cork keeper. Dropping down on the 45-metre line. Dermot Healy not quite picking it up first time. Playing it short. Andrew Ormond back to Jake Morris, just took his eye off it. Opposite number 10 is Dermot Healy. He really had a great first half with 3 wonderful points. This one is going to drop a little bit short. Rhys Shelley sends it down the middle. Brian O'Mara has recovered from the injury picked up a moment ago. Slipper blowing to hand every time. Good work by Sam O'Farrell. Captain of the Tip Miners, captain of the under-20s. They won both All-Irelands. Laying it off and sending a ball straight between the post and over the bar. That's a sweet score. Beautifully created by Sam O'Farrell and company, and finished by Andrew Ormond.
And brilliant awareness there by Sam O'Farrell. He knew he didn't have the pace to get away from Mark Coleman and laid it off. We saw him doing it to Jake Morris in the first half. Very intelligent hurler is Sam O'Farrell.
That's 3 points without reply from Tipperary. They've started the second half well, Michael.
They have, and here's Barrett though again. That's wide.
Comes back up the post. Good work by Robert Doyle. Rhys Shelley. That's what you want your corner back to do.
He was on the ball there because I'd called it prematurely. I thought it was gone well wide. The wind obviously forcing it back in. This is one of the wides they had in the first half. That's Sam. I'm just after praising them there, but that was a bad wide.
Dad Paul played with the Pershing, and I think he was first in the club to play with Limerick in the 1990s. Paul O'Farrell. Craig Morgan into the centre towards Andrew Ormond. Still Andrew Ormond laying it off towards John McGrath. Taken down. Referee. Cork come away with it. The referee allowing a lot of action there. Nice ball inside. Tipperary thinking about perhaps a little bit more than just a point. He's going for this. No, he takes his point. There was just a flicker of a moment when Darren McCarthy thought about creating at least another pass and perhaps finishing to the back of Patrick Collins' net. But listen to the Tipperary roar now.
And Martin, this is some start in the second half, but John McGrath, you know, the ultimate goal scorer, he sniffed the half chance, but McCarthy was dead right. Keep the scoreboard ticking over. He scored 3 from play. There was doubts about whether he'd start today after being taken off the last day. What a game he's having.
Just remember, it was 116 to 13 points at the break. Tipperary have now scored 4 points without reply. Slightly worrying time for the Rebels. Beautiful stick work. Darragh McCarthy heading towards goal. 20 knocked away. Oh, well done, Niall O'Leary. Great cornerback play. Picked up by Rob Downey. Laid off first Tim O'Mahony. Pumped into the space in front of the Cusack stand. Tipperary come away with it once more. Good anticipation. They're looking around. Tipperary man hits the sliotar, the other ducks out of the way. Is it on target? Absolutely not. Ball is wide. 11 wide of the match for Tipperary as Conor Stakelum had a go. Patrick Collins sends it down and well anticipated by Jake Morris. This is a great period of dominance for Tipperary. Surely that is a fray, as Morris was being pulled down almost, and the referee has blown his whistle and given a free in. Poor puck out for once by Patrick Collins. Clear holding here by Robert Downey. The brother is already on a yellow card. Liam Gordon, will he show a yellow here to the Cork captain? He wants him to come across. And I think he is going to be shown a yellow card. Yes, he is. The Downey brothers are both now on yellows.
Yeah, he fouled Andrew Armand after half-time, maybe got away with another one. Just before that, Conor Stakelum hit another long-range wide for Tip. They have to cut that out. They're well on top of the game. Cork now, they need leaders. We talked about Dermot Healy, Shane Barrett before half-time. I'd be very surprised if we don't see Harnedy very, very soon. They've had no impact in the half-forward in the second half so far.
Darragh McCarthy, 7 points to his credit. Make that 8. 6 in the first, 2 in the second. And look at the scoreboard now. 116 Cork, 18 points Tipperary. And it's Seamus Harnedy that's coming on. His services are required, as Declan Dalton is the one that's making way. Harnedy was injured, 31 years of age, 3 times an All-Star in 2013, 18 and 24. And Pat Ryan wants him on the field of play. What a game and what an atmosphere in Croke Park. The tension is palpable. Picked up by Conor Stakelum. I'm not too sure where Cork are gone, but they're not on the pitch at the moment, as Tipperary have taken control. 6 points down on the break. Jake Morris, coolness personified, looks up, and then with the sat-nav on, sends it over towards Darragh McCarthy. Well blocked, good defending Cork. Full marks to, once again, Niall O'Leary. McCarthy on the turn. Is that going to go over? Surely not. Just outside. Wasn't that far away. If Tipperary level this match, having been down by 6 points at the break, the roar will be heard in Boston, Sydney, Melbourne and Perth. Puck out this time is a short one. Playing it down the wing. 50-50 ball again. Last man touching it was Brian Hayes. Sideline ball, Tipperary.
Yeah, they're going to need him more in the game, but Ronan Maher is doing some man-marking job, Marty. We skipped over the catch there from Ronan Maher a few minutes ago. He's the captain of his team. He's produced outstanding displays in All-Ireland finals before, and he's doing it again today.
Ronan Maher, All-Star 2016-2019. Cork get the sideline ball. Darragh Fitzgibbon scored twice in the first half. There's a bit of frustration creeping in. The ball comes back up the post again. That's really pulsating and very worrying from a Cork point of view, because they're just finding it hard to get their mojo in the second half. Again, Tipperary spread it wide. Much better hands, Jake Morris. Showing great maturity. 45 metres out. This is dropping in. And Patrick Collins had to come out for it. He puts nobody on the goal line. Picked up John McGrath. Gets his 6th goal of the championship. And Tipperary are gone wild. Listen to the roar. Cork were up by 6 points at the break. Now look at the scoreline. 10 minutes into the second half. Tipperary 1 goal and 18 points. Cork 1 goal and 16. And John McGrath from Lockmore Castle Island. He was coolness personified. He is so cool to gather the sliotar to make sure they hit the back of the net.
He was the man you wanted, Marty, but the litany of errors off the post, off the crossbar there. Collins missed it.
And here comes Shane Barrett again. When class is needed, Barrett steps up. A goal and 3 points in the first half, and a point now in the second half.
Yeah, and that's their first score in the second half. But go back to John McGrath. If there was any player in Ireland you wanted in that position, it was John McGrath. Most lads would have pulled on it, maybe got blocked. He was cool, as you say. He was absolutely ice cool, and lovely finish by him. What a second half by Tip, and what has happened, Cork? They were so dominant. I said to you at half-time, Marty, off camera, Cork could pull away now with the way they dominated the last 5 minutes before half-time. So you have to give huge credit to Cork, or to Tip, but Cork have lots of time now to regroup with 25 to go.
Just thinking about John McGrath, he'll be 31 years of age in 8 days' time and scores a goal in the All-Ireland final. Wonderful. I remember him scoring 3-2 in the Munster final against Waterford a number of years ago, going for his third All-Ireland medal. Meanwhile, you can see that there's changes happening in Tipperary now. That looks like Seamus Kennedy coming in.
It is Seamus Kennedy, and he wasn't brought in the semi-final. Maybe he was a niggle or something, but his experience, this is part of a plan. They will have planned this. It's 47 minutes gone. Noel McGrath will be coming as well, probably in the next 10 minutes.
Referee is going to show a yellow card to Robert Doyle and Alan Connolly. Liam Gordon there showing yellow card. Seamus Kennedy, dual star with Tipperary in the past, is now introduced, and there's a bit of tension. There's a bit of fight coming into the game in every sense of the word. And Tipperary have it once more. Cork are gone to sleep, and Tipperary are on a roll. If they put this over the bar, they don't. That is their 13th wide of the match. Robert Doyle.
Andrew Ormond was right beside him. If you see a replay of it, he should have just slipped the ball to him. Bad mistake by Robert Doyle.
He did score in the first half though, Michael. He might be forgiven. Shane Barrett, nice ball inside. Seamus Harnedy has a go from out the field, but again, it's to the right and left of the goalpost and wide.
Wouldn't expect that from him. Obviously hasn't played for a while, a bit of rustiness. That was an easy chance. There's a huge tension here now. You can see it with the wides, with the balls hitting posts, with crossbars. You know, this is not the best by any means that Cork can play. Tipperary really have put it up to them now, and they've really put the pressure on them.
Feeling in Lockmore Castellani last night was that if Tipperary could be in the game with 10 minutes to go, they'd rattle the All-Ireland title and rattle the Cork cage. And I have to say that's what they're doing it now. Between the 45 and 65. It's a sweet strike of the sliotar. I can hardly hear myself, but you have to give credit to Tipperary as the Cork cage is rattled.
That was Willie Connors.
Passing is going astray.
Yeah, Willie Connors with the interception. John McGrath had chased out after Niall O'Leary and stuck it over the bar. 1-6 to a point now for Tip since half-time.
Tipperary 119, Cork 117. Just managing 1 point so far in the second half. Jamie Barrett giving it back. There's Dara Fitzgibbon. Much better ball towards Brian Hayes. Has to work hard for it. Didn't control it the first time. On the 45-metre line, he bounces into the ground, but you know that the ball is not sailing where he wanted it to be. And worried faces in the Cork crowd. 49.5 minutes. It's Tipperary that's in front. And Tipperary are going to introduce another player. That's Seamus Kennedy that's now coming on, and it looks like Brian O'Mara is coming on.
Yeah, he got a knock. He's been playing absolutely brilliantly, but he got a knock, and it's after he's going to be a loss now the way he's been playing.
Rhys Shelley goes for distance again. Cork have it, but they should have it. Tim O'Mahony. Diagonal ball didn't come off at all. First touch by Tipperary is poor. Race for possession, and away comes Michael Breen from Ballina on the border of Clare and Tipperary. I don't think he looked where he was driving it. He was just driving it, and that's going to be a free. Look at the determination. 31 years of age this month. Scored a point against Waterford. I think he was going for a point there. Being pursued by another Eldon Lemon and Patrick Horgan.
Yeah, and Marty, want to tackle it quickly? No, they won't have foot allowed.
Cork bench being told there are too many encroachments onto the field, and the referee hasn't blown his whistle at all. Yellow card for the Mayor Ishka. And the fourth official, I think, was telling Pat Ryan and his management team that there's too many encroachments onto the pitch from the referee's perspective. There you can see the chat. .5 minutes to go. Cork All-Ireland finalists 2021. Cork All-Ireland finalists 2024. This would be real heartbreak if they don't pull this off. 2 points between them. slipper is flying through the air, and the slipper is flying between the posts. Darragh McCarthy, for a 19-year-old, maturity beyond his years. It's now a 3-point game in favour of the Premier County.
And he's learned so much in the semi-final and some of the disappointments during the year. What a display is given.
Long puck out from Patrick Collins, picked up this time by Darragh Fitzgibbon. Shamie Harnedy is behind him, but Darragh Fitzgibbon heads past the 13-metre line, crossing it into the centre. There's nobody there, plenty of blue and gold jerseys. Good work by Owen Connolly. Fine hurler, this lad. The battle of the Connollys. Changes the hurley in mid-stride. Loses the slither. Through to pressure. In come the Tipperary reinforcements. In there as well as Shane Barrett and Alan Connolly. In comes Tim O'Mahony. Bursting away is Willie Connors. Willie gives it back. And Tipperary have the composure to drive it into the space. John McGrath is chasing after. Little push in the back. Grabbed by John McGrath. Bearing down a goal. And surely is that a penalty? It is! John McGrath is causing Cork unbelievable headaches. Against last year's All-Star fullback, there was a little push by McGrath beforehand. The referee didn't spot it.
He's on the yellow, Marty. He's on the yellow. He's gone, I'd say. There was a little push in the back, but he's pulled him down. He got a yellow in the first half. This is going to be a red card.
A yellow card, second yellow for Owen Downey. And Cork are down to 14 players in the 53rd minute. The drama of an All-Ireland hurling final, whether you're in Australia, New York, Boston, Bantry or wherever, you've got to just love the game of hurling. It gives us so many storylines. This is another crucial moment in the story of Cork Tipperary battles. The first ever All-Ireland final between the two Munster counties. Cork are down to 14 players, 17 minutes still to go. And let's be honest, I know I've used the phrase, but the Cork cage has been rattled by Tipperary.
It has. They came out in the second half, maybe thought had enough done at half-time. You know, you've never enough done at half-time. Maybe in the scars of last year tell them, but here's Darragh McCarthy. This is massive.
Darragh McCarthy facing Patrick Collins. Toomey Barra against Ballinhassig. He's going for it. Brilliant goal. Fantastic. High five, Darragh McCarthy. And the people of Tipperary are beginning to cry with joy, with 16 minutes to go. A rocket past Collins. Brilliantly scored by Darragh McCarthy.
That
the man who was sent off in the round robin has now scored a goal and 9 points in the All-Ireland final.
And sent off the last day as well, Marty. And look at Ronan Maher, what a catch again, what a game this man is having.
Down towards the man up front that created the penalty, giving it back. Football-wise, far as Niall O'Leary, can Cork get themselves out of trouble? Tipperary are now dominating the half back line. They're causing problems up front. Good work by Sam O'Farrell, laying it back. Cork under pressure, Alan Connolly. But Tipperary have the slither. 50-50 ball, runs kindly. Good work by Darragh McCarthy. Darragh from between the 45 and 65. The under-20 All-Ireland medalist from Toomey Barra has made his scoreline, personal scoreline of a goal and 10 points. Remarkable. Fantastic from a Tipperary perspective. But my word, what has happened to Cork in this second half?
It's unbelievable, but Tip have stood up all over the field. It's been manly, it's been brave. They got their tactics dead on. It's not over yet. We've seen a lot of things happen in games. They're still, with injury time, they got to 20 minutes to go. But this has been some second half. Is it 2-7 to a point since half-time to Tipperary? This has just been, they've just taken over the game. Incredible. And Cork with 1 point since half-time. That came from Shane Barrett. And the rest of the forwards, totally anonymous. Brilliant man-marking jobs going on. Mikey Breen and Patrick Horgan, Ronan Maher and Brian Hayes, Robert Doyle and Alan Connolly. They've just taken them man for man, and they've gone man for man the second half. There's no sweeper out there now, and it's worked for Tipperary.
Amazing. Tipperary scoreline at half-time was 13 points to 116. Tipperary have scored 2 goals and 7 points in the second half. And Cork have only managed, in this second period, 1 point. 2 goals and 8 points. 2 goals and 8 points for Tipperary in this second half. 1 point for Cork. Remarkable. Cork have not scored in the last 10 minutes. And Tipperary are beginning to dominate every section. The hottest of favourites, league champions, Munster champions. They beat this team not once but twice. Look at what's happening. She can hardly believe it. We can hardly believe it.
That is some skill by Mikey Breen, and just watch the way he took the tackle then. He's having some game on Patrick Horgan. You mentioned him in the first half. He's played everywhere for Tip, as has Owen Connolly, Robert Doyle. They play midfield and back and forward for the clubs.
Dropping ball, batted away. Damien Callahan, as I mentioned, come on for Damon Healy. No doubt he'll play in the full back line. Good work by Robert Downing. Robert Downing laying it off, whereas Damien Callahan, has just mentioned him a moment ago, down towards Alan Connolly, being pursued by Robert Doyle. Connolly is heading out over the sideline. He hits from a very difficult angle. He sends it wide. And Cork are making bad decisions now, Michael.
Well, they are, and that's where you want him shooting from. Like, he should be inside. He's gone out the field trying to create room inside for Patrick Horgan and for Brian Hayes, but it's not working for them. Here's Conor Lahan coming out for Patrick Horgan.
Conor Lahan is coming on for Patrick Horgan. He made a huge contribution in the previous games. Disappointment for Patrick Horgan. 37-year-old scored a great point in the first half, but the ball is really not coming in the quality ball being sent in. Conor Lahan can operate around the half-forward line, which I'm sure is what Pat Ryan has in mind. Look at the reaction from Darragh McCarthy. Just a few weeks ago, won an under-20 All-Ireland medal below in Nolan Park. Brendan Cummins was the manager. Now as Damien Callahan comes bursting out, Callahan hits Darragh McCarthy, charging. It's a free in for the Premier County.
They charge him and he stood his ground for 19. We've, obviously with 110 on the board, we're talking about him a lot, but he's been through the mill this summer. From that day in Cork, Marty, we were there getting the line, then saying the last day, disappointment. But the faith that man, Liam Cahill, has shown in him has been unbelievable. Put him back on the freeze today after a hard day, the last day where he missed a couple.
Darragh McCarthy has now scored a goal in 10 points. Cork fans can hardly believe what has happened in this second half. Darragh McCarthy hits it beautifully between the posts and over the bar. It's an 8-point gap with about, 11 minutes to go. And listen to the roar. An iconic figure in Tipperary. It is, of course, Noel McGrath, 3 times an All-Star, 3 times an All-Ireland senior medalist in 2010, 16 and 19. He'll be 35 in December. And when he's on, the people of Tipperary seem to be a little bit more relaxed. But right now, they cannot believe their eyes on what has happened in this transformation of the second half. Can Cork come back? They've shown character in the past, but they need to find their mojo again. Tipperary under pressure. Shane Barrett battling between the 45 and 65. Again, Kieran Joyce gives the ball away. The ball from way out the field is dropping in. Patrick Collins comes. Oh, another touch! Another goal! John McGrath, his second goal! This is incredible! He made his debut against Cork in 2016. I remember him scoring 3-2 in a Munster final against Waterford. He has now scored a remarkable 2 goals in this second half.
Marty, that's as good a goal as I've seen in an Ireland final. Look at the way he kept his eye on the ball, the bravery, the timing. That is an outstanding goal. Noel McGrath just been introduced, one of Tip's greatest ever, and John McGrath given an all-time display here in the final, along with this man, Ronan Maher and Darragh McCarthy. What leaders they have all over the field.
Darragh McCarthy and John McCarthy and John McGrath have been just outstanding, and everything is flowing for Tipperary. Jason Ford with his second point of the game. The Tipperary crowd in the Upper Hogan are on their feet.
This is like Limerick or Kilkenny at their very best, dominating, putting teams away. We haven't seen this, we didn't expect this. This is unbelievable.
Tipperary have now scored 3 goals and 10 points in this second half. They could only manage 13 points in the first half, and Cork have only managed 1 score, 1 point in the 46th minute. 3-10 to a point. Here comes Darragh Fitzgibbon heading towards goal, happy enough, I'm sure, to take his point, and that's over the bar. It's only Cork's second point of the game. Second point in the second half.
Tipperary it's wide.
Tipperary are saying it's wide. They're looking for a Hawkeye, and the Hawkeye is being called. Hawkeye is now being officially called by the umpire.
And that means it is wide, I'd imagine, when they've called it in.
12 points between the teams. This is going to be a nail. It's a nail.
And Marty, I said it just after half-time, Tip forwards had only scored 6 points in the first half. But tactically, what they did at the start of the second half, they did away with the sweeper and they pushed forward. I think it caught Cork by surprise. And you'd have to say Liam Cahill and his management team have plotted this unbelievably well. They wanted to be in the game at half-time. I think they didn't expect to be 6 down. They were maybe a little bit unlucky to be. But what a second half they've turned on.
They certainly didn't expect to be 12 points in front.
Not now, no. None of us did.
I haven't seen too many supporters dancing for joy in the upper Oldham, and that's what's happening now after John McGrath has scored 2-2 in a very impressive performance. But let's see what Cork can do here. They need goals. Seamus Harnedy going for it. Oh, off the post. Nothing is going right. Conor Lahan trying to dig it out, trying to get it back, but Tipperary are there, standing firm, strong, physical, and they relieve the pressure. Dropping the sliotar up into the sky and is dropping down on the 40-metre line. Little flick of the hurling, and Tipperary have the ball once again. John McGrath trying to get the ball in, manages to get it in. Patrick Collins has to come off his goal line. Coming in to challenge him is Andrew Ormond. Good play by the Cork keeper. Sends it down towards Tim O'Mahony. Gets by the initial challenge of Noel McGrath. But nothing, as I've said, is going. Oops. I was about to say nothing is going right for Cork. They have it here. Alan Connolly. They have to go for the goal. Connolly on the 30. Oops. The pass was not the right option. To his credit, he goes to gather it himself and he can't pick it up. It's picked up by Michael Breen and sent down into the Tipperary half of the field. I've seen Cork all through the league and the championship, and I've never seen them perform so poorly in any half.
No, they haven't, but Hardy could have buried that one, hit the crossbar. Alan Connolly should have tapped that one in, and Tip looked out on their feet, Marty. You'd have to say that. They have to hold on for another 10 minutes. They're going to need fresh legs. Here's Shane Kingston coming. And Cork will be targeting a quick goal or two. That's the only chance they have to get back into this.
Shane Kingston's coming on for Alan Connolly as Cork make changes. And I can tell you that Dara Stakelum is coming on as well. That's for Tipperary. Cork, meanwhile, drop this ball in. Comes back up the post.
3 times in the second half.
3 times. Talk about being unlucky.
And hit the crossbar.
Cork having no luck whatsoever in the second half. Tim O'Mahony, well hooked on the first occasion. Tries to get a ball away. Good work by the Newtown Shandrum man. Rob Downey needs the support, has the support of Shane Kingston, but Tipperary stand firm. Good work by Willie Connors. Sending it down. Batted away. John McGrath looking around. There's opportunities over this side. There's another goal on the way here. It could be. Cork are back there in numbers. He flicks it, but he sends it wide. Oh dear, oh dear. John McGrath was under pressure, but there was one other option just across the way in the large rectangle. 5 minutes to go. 12 points between the teams. 323 for Tipperary, 117 for Cork. Floating this one in. Easy ball for Patrick Collins. Down towards Seamus Harnedy, and Harnedy tries to send this in and sends it over the bar. Good score.
Yeah, nice score there by Seamus Harnedy. And
only their second point in the game. The second half is Seamus Harnedy off their crossbar. So unlucky. Because Cork really needed this to hit the back of the net to have any chance. 3 times they've hit the post. You'd have to say that Cork have been unlucky.
Yeah, they have indeed, Marty, but Tipperary have just dominated the second half. John McGrath, you mentioned there, Jason Ford was loose. He just didn't see him. That would have been the icing on the cake, but this is one of the great second half performances that I can remember in an All-Ireland final. Brilliant team effort by Tipperary.
Oisin O'Donoghue's coming on for Tipperary. Free for Premier County as Darragh Fitzgibbon was fouling. No doubt about the free.
That's Alan Tynan. Like, they've managed to bring in now the fresh legs all around the middle. Tynan winning that free. Noel McGrath's in there, Russian O'Donoghue in there, Dara Stick.
Tommy O'Connell's coming on for Tim O'Mahony. Changes being made for Pat Ryan and his back to the drawing board. This will be a huge disappointment on Lee's side. For Tipperary, it's a day of complete joy. For Liam Cahill, it's a remarkable transformation by his team. Beaten in the league final, beaten in the Munster Championship round robin. They are on fire in the second half. It is one of the great second half performances that we've ever seen in an All-Ireland final.
Yeah, that's 112. I think that's 13 shots that Darren McCarthy's had. I don't think he's had any wide. For his age, it's truly remarkable. It's one of the greatest performances that you're likely to see from a young player of that age. And you'd have to say there's not one Tipperary player has been anywhere below form. They've all been excellent, and so many Cork players have been disappointed.
Away comes Willie Connors, trying to come out with the slipper. Gets the ball. There's a pull across him, says the referee, and that's going to be a free for Tipperary. I mean, the statistics are a bit intimidating, I have to say, from a Cork point of view. With Tipperary now scoring 3 goals and 11 points in the second half, Cork only managing 2 points.
Yeah, and that man Willie Connors there came back and played wing back today. He's back in the full back line now. He never would have done that before in his life. He's always out in the middle of the field. The versatility of this Tipperary team has been unbelievable. Here's the goalie now going for one, Rhys Shelley.
And it's over the bar. Rhys Shelley from my Corky Boris has scored a point in the championship, his first, and he does it in the All-Ireland final. Remarkable.
And it's one from Robert Doyle has scored one from play. Owen Connolly has got one from play, and the goalie has got one. So Mikey Breen will have to step forward before the end of the game. And that was quick thinking again at this stage of the game. That free was taken off the ground to him by Ronan Maher, and he slots it from 100 yards.
Well, there's one proud Tipperary man, twice an All-Ireland winning manager. Pride of place, so important in the GA and in any sport. It is where we all belong, and this is going to be taken by Dara Fitzgibbon. Getting it for Shane Barrett, floating this in, and there'll be a touch batted away, just kept in, nothing going right for Cork. Noel McGrath, well won, full marks to Mark Coleman. Shane Kingston tries to take a shot, but 2 hurleys blocked him out. As we're now heading towards the 70th minute, Damien Cahalane, 4 minutes of added time. Damien Cahalane doing well. Sending down towards Shane Kingston. Trying to cut inside. And again, the blocking by Tipperary is superb. And they win the 50-50 ball. It's champagne hurling. As Jake Morris flicked it back, didn't quite come off. Good work by Willie Connors. And eventually the ball is released into the middle of the field. Plenty of red and white jerseys there. One of them happens to be Sean O'Donoghue. Shamie Harnedy has worked so hard to participate in this All-Ireland final. Kieran Joyce dropping it in. Wonderfully caught by Brian Hayes. Has to go for the shot, taken down. Surely that's a penalty. Has to be, and it is. Good work by Brian Hayes.
Yeah, the first time he got away from Ronan Maher all day in the air, great catch. You can just see the Tipperary players, they're absolutely out on their feet from the effort they've put in. And, you know, hurling is such a funny game. If Harnady's goal had hit the net, Alan Connolly had another chance after that. Cork could have worked their way back into it a little bit, but the game is just petering out here now. This is Conor Lehane now, who I'm not sure would have ever taken a penalty for Cork before.
Conor Lehane facing Rhys Shelley. And Rhys Shelley saves and gets the rebound and clears his line. Absolutely brilliant, Tipperary. Cork are in despair. Nothing, absolutely nothing going right for them in the second half.
Great save down to his right post. Maybe should have hit the ground with it, but what a save, great reaction.
Shane Barrett dropping it in again. Tipperary masterful at this stage. Coming out with it, Ronan Marr confirmed as the yellow card recipient there a moment ago. And this is dropping just outside the post and wide. A minute and a half to go. And Liam Cahill, who's won an All-Ireland minor for Tipperary as manager, an under-21 All-Ireland as manager, now about to become an All-Ireland senior winning manager and produce this cocktail of youthful flair with senior experience exuberance. Liam Cahill, son-in-law of the legendary Len Gaynor. This will be a joy for Tipperary and heartbreak for Pat Ryan.
And Marty, when you're looking for maybe Tipper, this time last year, their own county maybe turned their back on them. Their minors won an All-Ireland with 13 men against Kenny. I think that inspired a lot of this senior team to say we have to work hard. And I know during the winter, the training they took on was unbelievable. They did 3 nights a week in the gym for 8 weeks just to get ready to start training, and they drove on from there, and their older players drove it on, the lads with the All-Ireland medals, and you can see it out there today why, with the young lads coming through, as you say.
Darragh McCarthy taking his time. Maturity beyond his years. He sent off twice during the year, but you have to say he has been awesome in this Tipperary performance, along with John McGrath. 20 seconds to go, 6 long years waiting. The clock is ticking. We're reaching the magic number of 74 minutes. Tipperary were supposed to be in transition. They failed to get out of Munster last year, and look at them now, seconds away from being crowned All-Ireland champions.
And that's their leader, that's their spiritual leader, and that's got the biggest roar of the day. What a man, his 4th All-Ireland medal.
Tipperary are All-Ireland champions, 2025. Liam Cahill is an All-Ireland winning manager. The heartbreak of the summer of 2024 has been replaced by a remarkable summer of 2025. For the people of Tipperary, the wait is over. 6 years. It is a famine for Tipperary. They won their first All-Ireland in 1887, their last in 2019, and today, before your eyes and ears, Tipperary have won their 29th All-Ireland title by beating Cork in their very first All-Ireland final between the greatest of Munster rivals. Pat Ryan congratulates Liam Cahill. Cork have lost 2 All-Ireland finals in a row. Heartbreak for them. What a performance by Tipperary in the second half. They scored 3 goals and 14 points to Cork's 2 points. Truly fantastic. With a full-time score of Tipperary, 3 goals and 27 points. Cork 1 goal and 18. The story